because I would love to hear what you're going to say. So, hello everybody. This is the Writing in 10-second Increments class. And the lovely Miss Erica was just about to go into a little anecdote while we're waiting for the people to come on. Please, Erica. What were you saying?
And, I just want to say thank you. Everybody has so graciously self-muted. I'm blown away at how wonderful that the quiet is. When you do have a question or, if you're invited to participate, feel free to then unmute. We're not forcing it, but it is nice to have the mute. So thank you for the quality of sound we can get. And I was saying that Monica had come on my podcast as a guest, and we were talking about her new book, which is coming out. And her new book is on dancing on the body, in the body. And we were talking about how writing was such a contribution. And she's like, well, maybe we should help people kind of get that writing as a contribution in a bigger way. And we both just went, and then we went well, what gets us out of being afraid to write, and what keeps us my book that's coming out Sunday, I got in 2014, and I had to get through some things for it to be real. I got the idea for it, as I say. So that was kind of the genesis of the class, is how much we both appreciated writing in our lives, and then what could we do to help writing be a bigger, more ease and less angst in your lives. Mm-hmm. Monica, does that sound like about what we were coming from?
Totally. I would love to just really quickly give a little intro to some of the tools that we might be using, and then we can just start diving in. Does that sound good to you, Erica?
Yeah.
Cool. So I am a certified facilitator of access consciousness. Some of you may or may not be familiar with this. One huge tool that we use is called the clearing statement, and it helps to unstick all of the energies that kind of lie beneath all of our creations in our lives, all of the choices, all of everything that's going on in our worlds. We can get really focused on the details when we're looking at what's going on in our lives, but what we can also do, and what we do a lot with Access Consciousness, is we go behind all of the details and get to the energy of everything. And when you can allow yourself to have an awareness of the energy behind everything, you can clear some of the areas that might be sticking you. And so we use a clearing statement that can kind of sound like gibberish to some people. I'm just going to dive in and really be using it a lot, as my name is Erica. And if you have any questions about it, go to theclearingstatement.com. You can also look up Access Consciousness. You can get in touch with myself or another certified facilitator. There's all sorts of information. But I just love to give a little bit of an introduction so that when we really go for it, you know what all this gibberish is that we're saying. And
so you know what else, Monica?
Yeah, please.
I got told I should say a little tiny bit more of my bio. Should I tell people a little bit more of my bio?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's really funny how easy it is to promote other people and how challenging it can be, when you're standing in it yourself. So I became a news reporter in 1984 professionally. As I said, one of my former editors, Terry Hunter Davis, is on the line with me. She was one of my editors when I wrote a newspaper column later. So I've had 18 number one international best-selling books. I'm a third generation publisher. Both my parents were publishers. My grandfather was a printer. Sometimes I look and I'm like, is there ink or blood? And then Monica and I were like, she's like, well, how come you don't teach writing? I'm like, well, it's so easy for me. So I think that's just a little bit of the genesis for you guys, that this is something I do every single day, and I've done every single day since I was a kid. And boxes and boxes of journals. It's boxes of journals. And then just one more fun thing, like that if I didn't leave sharing this with you, I would like not forgive myself, is I have journals all the time. And it's like the one thing I'm always willing to pay for is a new journal. Like, oh, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that. Oh, a new journal. Yeah, I better get that right now. So that's just something like, I have a journal with me. My kids laugh. They say I have 7, but I really don't know that to be true. But I have like small ones in my purse. I like the ones with no lines. So I like the no lines. It allows me to have more freedom, but you should get the ones you like. And I highly recommend having journals nearby. So go ahead and Monica, do you want to get started maybe on some just questions or generative questions, or what would be good next?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would just like to invite any and all of us who have points of view about writing to allow the energy of what are all of the points of view that you have about writing, and everything that brings up, anything that you're aware of in your body, any in your being, whatever that is. Would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. What else is possible? If you did not have to write in the ways that you have been taught to write, what would you write? How would you write? Who would you write? And everything that does not allow for all of that, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So over the course of this next hour or so, please chime in. If any of you have any questions, if things are coming up that are really specific to you and your journey with writing, please chime in. You can say something in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and speak up. This class really is for you. As Erica was saying, writing is so easy for her that she didn't even think to teach a class about it for all of these years. And so, and
I do like it if someone writes in the chat. So I really like questions in the chat. So that really is helpful for me, because I can sort of like, maybe we can sort of formulate it. So if it's easy for you, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. And then if you just really feel like just saying it out loud, it makes so much more sense to say it out loud, say it out loud. And then we are going to be offering a 4-part weekly series and a more in-depth series. For anyone who wishes to stick around and learn about those things, we are going to be sharing some ways you can work with us more. But I got something that I was supposed to do, which has to do with our 7th and 8th grade English teaching time. So I wanted to ask you to, as a group, look back at a time it's typically middle school. It can be earlier. It's usually a time when someone put a lot of red marks on your writing. So it's usually a time when you got either told you weren't good enough, told your writing sucked, told you would never make it. There's some memory in many 7th and 8th grade. I see it with my own children now. And then where you were told you had to write with this being the sentence and then this being the paragraph. And then for Terry and me and those people in news reporting, you had your nut graph. You had to have a nut graph. If it didn't have a nut graph, and I could go on forever on how journalists are monkey trained to write. So anything that this brings up for you, where you were highly criticized or dramatically, Monica, can't you feel it? Can you feel the energy?
Yes. Yeah.
Whoa. All those times when you were told your writing was less than, and you made other people's writing more than. It's really, everyone else's writing is better than you, and we're going to read people's writing who's better than you. Like, everyone is better than you. And it's like, it's this whole body of the way that writing was treated. And it actually, there was a time when only the elite could write because it had to get carved into sandstone. It's really expensive. And so if you didn't write well, they were going to put it in stone. So anytime that you got told your writing wasn't good enough to be in sandstone or depicted on the cave walls, anytime. Just tune into then that laughter was really good.
Yeah.
Monica, what does that bring up for you that you can share? Because it felt like there was a body of pain that we were helping people release.
So everything that, all of the different energies that have come up as Erica has been talking, anything that you can and would like to destroy and uncreate now, would you choose now to let all of that eliminate and eradicate, dissipate and release all of that from your body, from your memories? Cool. Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, and everywhere that you've made anybody else's request of you or demand of you significant, like you have to fulfill that, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And back to that 7th and 8th grade space that Erica was bringing out, everywhere that all of that was kind of interwoven with everything else that was going on with your body at that time, all of the hormonal changes in your body at that time, and everywhere that all of what your body was going through was twisted up with those energies of right and wrong. Would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And would you allow your creativity, your creation, and your creative energy to be present with you now? And all of the ways that it was judged, even as your body was being judged, would you destroy and uncreate anywhere and everywhere that you chose to listen to any authority outside of your own knowing? Cool. Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Thank you.
I'm gonna speak a little bit to the power of the blog because I love that was brought up. So I think it was Julie and maybe Vioma, I don't know if I said her name right. So this year my podcast got born and I created a daily blog, and it's just really it's the blog of the podcast. And I kind of got disenfranchised from blogging. I kind of saw it as less than. And as I was looking at the power of the blog now, I am so pro blog, it's insane. Like, I can't even fathom my podcast without its blog. It basically gives me space. The thing that changed for me, and I can't speak for everybody on the planet, was I asked it to contribute to me. We spend a lot of time saying, how can what I write help other people? And I do a lot of philanthropic type writing, like my Happiness Quotations, Generative Questions book that's coming out someday, if I didn't say that yet a million times. But the blog also wants to be a contribution to you. So what you want to do when you look at creating a blog is on the sides, you want to advertise things that'll be a contribution to you. This could be as simple as joining Amazon Associates and then getting 1% of every book sold. This could be joining Access Consciousness affiliates and then advertising things that you like and getting a proportion of everything sold. Basically, what this will do for your blog is it starts giving you money. And Terry actually and I did talk about that for her. I think it was either cooking or crafts, all those things I can't do. But when the blog contributes to you, I think even when I say it, it feels different. And it's different than how many people read it, because people will read it when it has that energy of being a contribution. because you need to put the care into it to give it back to you. When you put the care into it and then you add the piece that contributes to you, it actually gets more popular. And that was the big thing that changed in my podcast, is I allowed it to be a contribution to me. And so in just that changed the whole energetic quality. And, you know, I'm going to add just the one more thing that we talked about, Corey Michelle's Facebook group. Julie was talking about that with me in the beginning before you guys joined us. Look at that contribution to Corey. And now the group has so much more energy. So it's a very fascinating, non-intuitive. Because you think the more I give to everyone else, the better it'll all do. But what if it's a little bit different than that?
Cool. Thank you so much for saying that, Erica. One thing that is coming up for me is, so where has writing been used to abuse you? And everywhere that writing has been an abuse, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Everywhere that you have used writing to abuse others, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Everywhere that things put in writing condemned you, everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Please, somebody. Would somebody say yes to that one?
Yes.
Cool, thank you. Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all night, shorts, boys and beyonds. That one was a little
Sorry,
bit.
I lost my mute on mute.
That's all right. That one.
I was fully present. I just couldn't find my mute on mute.
Yeah, it was interesting. That one in particular was a little bit stickier. And the reason I bring this up, well, it was coming up, but then also, Erica, with you talking about, you know, your blog or your writing contributing to you, it's like what a shift that could be from it actually abusing you, from it being about abuse to it being actually receiving. So everywhere that writing has created contraction in your world and everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And let's just go ahead and invite writing, the action of writing, the activity of writing, the possibility of writing to be present with us in this class and to allow it to shift from what it has been to what it can be. And all of the joy that you see Erica have, would you be willing to receive some of that from her and from me and from anywhere that you have access to joy? Would you be willing to allow that to come into your writing? Thank you. Anything that does not allow for that, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all night, shorts, boys and beyonds. Awesome.
I got the greatest thing up for me to share. Oh my God, it's like so awesome. So I remember when my daughter was little and we would take her to see her grandma and she would kind of cry because, you know, being with mom was way better, right? So Wednesdays, grandma had offered to watch Isabel, and that was really nice for me because I'd have a few hours with baby having grandma. And she was like, I don't know if I'm having this. And what we did, we actually did it a little bit more. So what we found was by just doing it a little bit, it was actually still kind of challenging. Like it still wasn't quite that much ease. And baby was a little bit like, where am I? And this is so awkward. We actually added another hour and a half. So it was like Tuesday, Thursday, something. I don't remember the details, but we gave her more ease with it. We gave it more ease. We gave the whole thing more ease and gave it more familiarity. And I think writing is so much like that. Like you just do a little tiny bit of writing and then you hold it up and you say, everybody judge me and tell me how I look and am I pretty enough and how's my clothes? It's like even the first time you put on makeup or the first time you do anything, it's going to feel just a little strange. And so, yeah, there was some energy on that. It was the, how important is it that my one piece of writing is going to change the world so much, right? Like I put so much weight on it. What if I just write in my journal just because I breathe, you know? Or what if I'm one of the person was saying, I write my Facebook post and I have to think about it so much. One of my writers, he has dyslexia. It takes him about 45 minutes to do 2 sentences. It takes him 45 minutes to do 2 sentences. He seriously has to sit there and then check it and check it and check it and check it. But it's a really awesome 2 sentences when it's finally there. Like, it's really cool. And he's just decided to not have that stop him anymore. And he just kind of gets that it will take him way more time than some other people to do things. And what if that wasn't wrong? Like, what if the time it took him was okay, you know, versus the time, you know, everybody knows the person who goes to the gym once every year and their body's like perfect, and then the person that goes to gym 3 hours a day and their body's like still like really trying to be perfect, but it's like having all these challenges and it's trying so hard. So your writing recipe is going to be your writing recipe. It's going to look and feel like you. And it's not going to be the same as it is. Like, both my parents wrote professionally. I was raised by 3. So Terry, same thing. Her mom was I think, professor or something, or social work. But anyways, this was always like expected. Birth, you can write. Some other people, you know, their parents didn't write at all, or their idea of writing was a grocery list or a business report or pain. And then even before that, men weren't allowed to write. The secretaries had to do the writing. And so if you look at like the genesis of writing, it really is, it's not the same for everyone. So maybe just for a while, sit in the space of you, and sit in the space of your writing, and start to get to know it. Like, get to know your writing. Like, it's hard to explain. It's like, get to know your brain. It's like, get to know your writing, because it's not going to feel and breathe and seem like everyone else's.
So can I just jump in with some clearings on that specifically? What does writing mean to you? And everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. What are you aware of that writing means to everybody else? And everywhere that you have been trying to duplicate writing, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh my goodness. And this is hilarious. Like, everywhere that writing has been about being right, and the rightness of writing, right. Would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yes.
I can't believe I haven't
Yes.
seen that. So so everything that brings up, again, let's destroy and uncreate all of that.
Nice.
Words that say one thing and mean many things, and everywhere that that's tangled you up at all. And POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds, and everywhere language to destroy and uncreate all of that. Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And so what I mean by
that was very funny and oddly kind of blocked. So I don't think the audio recording caught it. So do you want to say that one again?
you let's see what else possible. Okay, can was that
Are you guys having trouble with the audio? Yeah, it's breaking up.
Yes, it is breaking up.
Okay, so
I think it's just Monica.
I know, but she's host.
Yeah,
I made her host. Did she leave? Okay. Okay, well, all this means, can everyone hear me? Yes?
Yes, we can hear you, but Monica left and the recording stopped.
Oh, the recording stopped?
No, it's okay now.
Okay. Okay, any entities who are not interested in Monica and Erica having an excellent show, please leave now. You are not welcome. Please leave now.
The new host is Tara.
Well, I can make myself the toast. I think.
Hi.
Right?
I think Monica's here.
Ah, Monica is
I
back.
just
Okay.
got back.
Okay.
That was
That's funny. So do you want to start the recording again?
so, can we? Yeah. So it's still recording. So
Okay. Cool.
yeah. So it's possible that it continued recording through the whole time.
How did Tara get made the host?
Maybe just as I got kicked off, it just decided to keep it going. Interesting. So let's all go ahead and expand out. Drop any of your barriers that you have to any of this topic. Okay. So for those who don't know me, I am also a Talk to the Entities facilitator, which is a specialty class of Access Consciousness.
It's working now.
And it's interesting. Great. So
Monica, you're completely cutting off.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe you should.
You go for it.
Well, no, I'm thinking you should maybe cut off your video. Do you want to?
Video? Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for bearing with us, please. I think whenever lots of people with really cool energy get together, this kind of thing can happen. So thank you for everyone. Monica, the only problem is without your pretty face, it's so not much as fun. So let's see. I'll take on a question or two, and then I think we'll ask Monica to bring her video back because it's so much fun. So one of the things someone just wrote is, why would anyone be interested in what I write? And I think that's a pretty common one. I'm going to talk to that one. So basically, the way things kind of work is we all have tribes, right? We all have tribes. And tribes are just other beings that came to the planet and somehow love to learn from you. They're people that love to hang out with you. So the people that are going to learn from you, actually, okay, this is how I see it. So I don't know if this is like how everyone sees it, but I look at each writing as a body of work that's not inside my body, okay? So people tend to put their stuff inside their stomach. So I put it out in front of my body. Okay, now let's see, I make it into a book. So now the book is outside of my body, and then the book is a body of work that is actually being called forth for the people it's supposed to help, and then I'm the conduit for it. I'm writing it, but it's actually being called forth from me. So for instance, for Julie, who's feeling this blog just come bubbling up from her, like it's like a beyond. It's like, oh my gosh, Julie, if you don't write me, I'm going to keep bugging you until I'm going to go away, because actually these creative things that we want to create come up for a reason to help people. But if we never nourish them, they just kind of go away. I mean, they don't have to be nourished, right? We don't have to write a book. We don't have to do a blog. It's just something that if we did, might contribute to the planet in a bigger way than if you don't do it, if that makes sense. So move all of your creative works, all of your writings out of your body. When you do this, you can put them, and Monica, do you want to try to bring your video back now and see if that works? Maybe just wanted me to blab for a while.
Love it.
Yeah, because you sound good now.
There you go. Cool.
So everything that brought up.
So great.
Everything that brought up. Yeah, relax a little bit, guys. When you're writing, it's being called forth. We're part of a whole. We're helping each other on the planet. Relax a little bit on the big, deep meaning of it. Like, just trust it. Like, if a story shows up for you to write it, it's almost for sure going to help someone. You know? It's something that you went through and shifted and became different, and you write about it. Like, how would that not help someone? Do you see? It's like everyone is intrinsically interesting. Everyone has a little intrinsic, like, really? You know, of course, I find everything interesting, but So, Monica, do you want to help our audience? I want to do a little bit more work on the self-critic voice, but I also am feeling like, since our technology is being very sneaky, that we should tell people at least about the 4-part class that we're creating.
Yeah. Yes.
So do you want to do a little bit of that, since our technology is being so silly? And then we'll go at least 5 minutes after, guys, for that bubble we had of technology being sneaky.
Yeah, so this April, every Thursday, Erica and I are going to do a 45-minute kind of lightning session into really diving into some specific things that come up for anybody who would like to go further with us. We're going to offer this as a 4-part masterclass. And hold on, I'm just hearing there's lots of different noises going on. Oh, I'm not the host anymore. Sorry, you guys. So
I can make you host again, but you couldn't be when you were gone.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. This is so interesting. I have to say, I have not had so much difficulty with technology since this is the most difficulty that I've had so far. How's it get better than that? So what else is possible?
That's how strong we are energetically.
Right, exactly. And also it's like, my big question is, what would the world be like if you truly had your voice? If what you have to say and what you know could easily get into the hands of anyone who's looking for it.
Wow. Did you feel that, everyone?
And so,
wow. If you stopped stopping yourself, right?
Wow. Yeah. So, and the thing is, you know, there are all of these different ways that we go about creating things. You know, maybe you teach classes, maybe, you know, you have your business or whatever. But I love to think about, like, even like when you write something, how long it can be there. You could start doing graffiti in the world, you know, it's like write little pieces, little notes that you leave around in the world. You know, how powerful is that? Everywhere that you have been stopping you for any reason at all, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And what would it take for this to be easy? And it's really that is what Erica and I are interested in diving into and in giving some space to. So today, you know, lot of different things that come up for different people, that are, like Erica brought up at the beginning, that, you know, the history of writing in general, and the history of writing in your life, where the pains and traumas and blocks are within that. And then the things that I love to play with, and that Erica brought up with, you know, pulling all of the works that you have inside of you out, like really bringing those entities, those life forms that are to be birthed through you out into the world, and to give voice to everything that you know, to be the contribution to the world that you judge out of existence.
Yeah, there was something pretty big there. And I got a memory that I think I'm going to share with everybody. And I do these chapter books. A lot of you have read a lot of the books I've created. And I had one chapter book. It wasn't this one. But I had two different authors submit chapters. And one was convinced hers was terrible. And one was sure hers was the best chapter in the history of chapters ever written and ever contributed to any chapter book ever. And that woman, and I mean, I know if I would never say the name out loud, but oh my gosh, she knew it was the best chapter. I mean, bar none. She was sure. And now we're going to go to the other woman who basically was positive her chapter sucked worse than dirt. And she was only turning it in because she'd said she would. You guys, they were the same quality. I've been reading and writing professionally for 40 years now. 40. These two chapters were the same quality. I'm not kidding. They were both awesome. They both had vulnerability. They both had truth. They both went into places that were scary. They both explored. They both shared information. They both told people advice. They were both awesome chapters. Isn't that insane? I went, oh my gosh, that self voice is so full of crap. It was crazy because, right? It was crazy.
It's interesting to me. So Erica and I have, in addition to this 4-part class that we're going to offer in April, we're going to do an extended 3 months beyond that for people who are really looking to create something. Maybe you already have something in mind, or maybe you just like are ready to dive in and have something come through. So we have some ideas for like a 3-part or 3-month extensive membership package for really creating something with a bunch of facilitation. And it's interesting, I've been looking at some of the bonuses that I would like to include on that, and there's a lot that I get around clearing doubt. So I'm going to be putting together a bunch of audio loops for clearing those voices of self-doubt. And I've really been looking at like editing and censoring, and what are those energies and what aren't those energies, and what is possible with those energies, and if none of them were right or wrong, what could you choose? And then just looking at like all of the places that we make ourselves crazy through the judgment that we use to shut down our voice, and really what is possible, and what's it going to take for you to free yourself from that insanity. And so we've really been playing around. It's been such a fun creation so far, just to really kind of dream this up and see, you know, it's like, okay, it's a little bit of all over the place, but here we go. I see Erica talk about books, talk about other people's books that she's seen, and there is so much joy with each of these books, with so much gratitude and just like awe at these creatures that they are, these books, these entities that they are. And I don't know that I've ever really met anyone who, even though I've met many people who love reading and love books, until this point, I haven't met anyone who's so excited to meet books as Erica is. And I,
That's
in
true.
my own life, have
You're
been
cutting out
having
again.
this.
I can't hear Monica at all, but that was really
This
beautiful. And I'm going to accept that, because how hard is it to receive? And I'm going to say thank you for that, because I do
relax
books everywhere. So thank you, Monica.
myself. Yeah. Awesome. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'll share with people what we came up, why we came up
good,
with.
good.
Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah. Thank you, Marie-Laure. More or less. Marie-Laure.
Yes.
I love French. Yeah, so what we're looking at doing is having 4 months, because we want to help you get out of the self-doubt for 4 whole months of rating with us. So we were like, what can we do together? So it's basically 3 private sessions each over the course of 16 weeks. So plus the 4 weeks of telecalls. So we have 2 different levels. One is the 4 weeks of telecalls, which is $97. And then the 4 months is $2,400. And that would be basically, we will basically sit with you through the creation of your book. And we basically won't let you get into self-doubt for very long, because you'll keep playing with us. And we're going to take your book out of its little shell and help it exist. And I was telling her when I wrote my first book, which Terry Hunter Davis on the call edited for me, it was called Prospect When You're Happy in 2006. 2007, and I had a coach who basically held me to the lightness of me. She just kept holding me up to the lightness. She just kept saying to me, her name was Celeste. She was kind of celestial. And so we're kind of going to help people with that I got help with, except with more fun tools, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to bring to you guys. I'm feeling like we should do one more thing on writing blocks that I want to give people. So one of the things for writing blocks that's really helpful is to give yourself permission to write either badly or without grammar, maybe if it's in your journal. The other thing, sometimes I do like storyboards on my things. I do little squares and I storyboard things. I use a lot of graphic elements when I'm working with writing. And this was something that I honed over the years, because I find if I have some drawings with my writings, or I also play with the size of the words when I write by hand. So give yourself permission when there's 2 different parts, and the creative part is the gushing out part. So give the gushing out part. If you're gushing out and then editing and gushing out and then editing, you'll have nothing. So you need to let it all come out first and be imperfect, and just trust it. Trust it won't be perfect. It might come out perfect, but what if it doesn't? It's okay. You just trust. It's like writing bad songs, writing bad lyrics, writing bad blogs. Really try to write like the worst blog you could possibly write. I challenge you guys to write a really bad blog. And then I just really have it be horribly written. Make the grammar be terrible. I'm just give yourself permission. Write something awful, just really bad, and then just can you feel? I felt everyone's solar plexus. I felt everyone relax. I felt the whole energy of all of our collective solar plexuses relax when I said you could do it. So it was really bad. And then one more thing I just have to share with people. This is so important. Do not share your most soul-centered writing with every single human being on the planet. There are people for whom they should never see your writing. I'm not going to name names. I don't know the names, but there's people that should never see your writing. They often might have the name of spouse or child or parent or aunt, and they're very well-meaning, and they love to show you your flaws, and they've taken this on as their job, and they should never, ever see your writing until you're at the bestseller #1 Barnes & Noble, and then they might go, oh my God, right? But that would be the right time for them to see your writing, or never. Okay?
I have written blogs where someone sent back a comment to me telling me to do spell check and all that, very kindly. And since English is not my first language, it sort of makes me now, like every time when I go to write, I just went blank. And then it's like, okay, now I have to take care of grammar, take care of spelling and all that. And yet I've read another book somewhere it's one of our access books where in the beginning is the guy was saying like, you're going to find all kind of spelling mistakes or whatever stuff. And like, he was just like, I don't give a shit, but be prepared for that. And when I read that, it was so fun for me. It's like, oh, there you go. Someone put up a finger for me,
Yeah, I mean, one of my friends, his first language is Vietnamese, and he just writes like his grammar's terrible. And I'm like, well, I'd rather hear from you than not hear from you. I love his spirit and I love his energy. So, if you can't get it together where you're comfortable, you can also have someone fix that for you. You can pay someone to do that. You can also make video blogs and then in your video blogs, your grammar can be as atrocious as you choose, whatever. And just the main thing is when you're getting a message to communicate something, it's usually gonna be helpful to someone. It's usually coming for a reason, and it's coming to you for a reason. And it's your gift to the planet to express it, right? So when you're holding it in, who's it helping?
Not me.
I would, if it's, I personally am highly imperfect.
I still like even right now for simple writing, like my own bio or something like that. Like I find that it just takes me hours and hours to spit it out to the point where, like, when I was a kid, I loved writing letters. I wrote to my father's business partners and all that. I loved writing, and somehow is gone.
I love that, Wendy. I really appreciate. Do you want me and Monica to play with you a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll do something first, Monica, and then you can do something clearing-ish.
Perfect.
Because I don't know the tools like she does. So, so Wendy, when you wrote, when you were little, when you wrote these letters, there's so much joy in that energy. Can you look at that again real careful? Can you feel that in your body?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoever you gave permission to slap that out of you, can you kick them out?
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone since then that came along to further make sure that you did not forget that you'd forgotten that joy. Can you ask them to leave? Because then there's other jailers that come. Like there's the first one that comes that says, that's way too much joy. You're way too happy. Okay. I'm going to definitely, again, I go back to the 8th grade teacher that slashed all the red. You're way too happy. You know, I want to bring you down. Wow. Wow.
Right.
Wow. Wow. Oh, so Wendy, what I challenge you to do is I challenge you to write 5 letters in the next, I don't know, a month and mail them with a stamp to people.
Okay.
You're going to have to ask for people's addresses.
Yeah.
Because there's something that happens when you write letters that you just light up the planet.
I know when I was a little girl, when I wrote letters, like these big businessmen will write me back and say how they felt, you know, the emotion, the excitement, or like they just love my letters. You know, it's like there's so much
Wow.
and
Thank you.
emotions I put in there, and I just it was so nice, and then I don't know what happened. It's crazy.
Okay. So another story I'll just tell really quickly. There was this lady and she would write really good Christmas things, you know, like her last year. Like everybody would wait for her little Christmas thing, and it was like, you know, Pierre did his first walking, and we did Christmas trees, but she wrote so well that you just couldn't wait for hers. You know, that one where you're so excited when you see that one show up because you're going to open that one. You know how good it's going to be because her writing was insane. So she would write it. So fast forward, she gives up writing. She goes to work in a soda factory. 19 years, she doesn't write. And this isn't to say anything about me, guys, but she did read a book I wrote. She has since then written 9 vampire novels.
Wow.
She woke up. She gave herself permission to I don't know what. She's had 9 vampire novels published. And her writing, it used to be confined to that one little Christmas letter. That little Christmas letter was where all of her annual writing energy was allowed to be channeled. And everyone loved them so much. So Wendy, are you willing to write beyond letters too?
Yes.
Yeah. What else? Do you feel the rushing dam opening? Do you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming and it's a little intense, so I'm going to turn it over to Monica for some more clearing.
So everywhere that any and all of us have been damming that rushing flow, and all of the ways that we dam, can we destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And what contribution can your body be to your writing? And everywhere that you just went into your heads to try to figure that out, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. So what contribution can your writing be to all of your creations? And everything that does not allow for that, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And it's interesting, as we've been doing all of this today, there's been all of this energy that has come up, right? The computers have been weird. This laughter has come out. Kind of tangled up energies have come out. What would it take for you to be present with all of that energy and to play with it and allow your body and your awareness to be a part of this energetic orchestration of possibilities? And anything that does not allow for that, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And really, it's like when we talk about giving voice to whatever, we're translating, if you will, energy into word, which is such an interesting possibility. The energy that you're aware of is there. And we've been taught to judge it. But that judgment, what else is possible beyond that judgment? That judgment doesn't stop the energy from being there. It just jails it. It just confines it. So everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And this is part of what I'm saying with, would you allow your body to contribute to your awareness of the energy? Would you allow your voice, whatever that is, to speak your awareness, to speak these energies? And anything that does not allow for that, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And how much fun can you have with these energies as they come springing out of you? How surprising can these creations be to you? So everywhere that you try to control these creations, rather than meet these creations, would you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can you put the link to the class, Monica, in the chat or no?
I will be sending that out in the follow-up email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to play with us for the 4-week teleclass, it's every Thursday at noon. We're going to do a class like this. We'll base it on the needs of the audience. So whoever signs up will control what we go through. But basically, we're going to help you through any writing challenges that you have, any places where writing has been not as good as it could be. And then we'll happily allow people to read their works to each other. My book is asking me to read a little passage. So is that okay?
Please.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And I get so scared, but then I'm just going to let the book choose which page. Okay, cool. Okay. It's Happiness Quotations number 6. And it's, what lies are you now willing to stop believing? It's a very smart book, right? It knew. Could you stop believing lies told to you by those who could not ever see the beauty of you? Are you willing to stand in the light of the rainbow of your spirit dancing? We were told so many lies growing up. We were told lies by parents who were mimicking lies told by their parents who were mimicking lies told by their parents who were mimicking lies told by their parents. Darkness cannot exist in the light. A rainbow will burst forth when rain has cleared your being of the lies that held you shrouded in yesterday's limits. Are you willing to shed everywhere that lies kept you from shining and becoming and being and loving full out? Ask, what light am I willing to perceive of my own brilliance that I forgot because I believed lies that I now today no longer choose to believe? Oh, thank you, book. Oh, so pretty. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yes, thank you all so much. I'm really excited about all of the possibilities for continuing to work with you all, but also just for seeing what comes through you, what you create, what you play with. So like I said, I will be sending out a follow-up email that will have this recording, which we'll get to see what that ends up being like. and then also more information about different ways to work with us. And please send me anything that this class inspires you. If there's a book that you would like to show, something like that. I'm curious and I'm interested. So I don't know if Erica would also like little updates on what all of this creates, but I know that I would. So please feel free to just let us let us know.
How much can we generate just today, just here, just on this call? How much craziness, you guys? How much craziness? What can we generate? Just this, just right here. That. I can feel it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There's going to be some new babies. Huh, Monica?
Yeah, oh, definitely. There already are. Are
Thank
there
you
are there any
different with that just little bit of facilitation that both of you did. So thanks so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Yeah, are
Wendy.
there any other quick questions before we disappear?
I have a question. I believe that books, as things are written, they will last for centuries. But if I speak something, express with my voice, I believe that it will last just during the time I am expressing myself. And I am not ready, and I think, and I'm blushing, but to let my voice printed for whole eternity, because I'm not sure to be able to take the responsibility of things expressed at the time. Maybe I can write something today, and in one day, 10 years, I will say, oh my gosh, no, it's not me. I am ashamed of that. I don't want to claim being the author of that things. So that's the reason why I think I don't.
Okay, I can answer some to that, and then I think it's really awesome if Monica and I are so different. It'd be cool if both of us did. So first of all that responsibility just put on your writing, and that has just completely stopped you from writing. So if you'd like to not write, keep that belief.
No.
If every piece of writing had to be something first had to work. What about when people wrote about the world being flat before we knew it was round? Okay. What about the scientists who knew something about the ear and then they found out more about the ear? And then they proved that not true. Every single day we are finding things out that were not true anymore. So by believing that, you've given yourself permission to never write. Because it might change tomorrow. I'm going to challenge you, it will change tomorrow. Whatever you write today will be wrong in 10 years. I'm actually sure it will be wrong in 10 years. So that's why you had to hold that so close, because it's true. But what it does is it completely stops you from creating.
Yes.
And that's permission not to create. So what would you like to do with that? What could be different?
I want to write something.
Okay, can you give yourself permission to be ashamed of it? Do I like what I wrote in 3rd grade? Is it okay? I'm not going to show you. Are you kidding? I wrote that when I was 8. Okay, that's the energy you're showing me. My 65-year-old self is going to look back at my today self and go, oh my gosh, little girl, why did you write that? That is that parent energy that I talked about in that passage. It's so embedded in your cellulars that you've already let her criticize you back to not doing anything. It's very normal, and it's very normal. So I just want to honor you for bringing this up in front of everyone, because everyone who's listening to this knows exactly what you're talking about, and you're helping so many people by letting this come up. So I just want to honor you right now for being brave and being in front of us and sharing with us this fear that it will be wrong in 10 years. And let's just really honor that. Does that change the energy of it a bit?
Yes.
Okay, it's still a little bit lodged there. I can still actually see the energy of it. It's a very strong force that you must be accurate. And there's someone else on the call who has the same thing. You must be right. It must be so true beyond a shadow before you write it.
Well, it has to be right because it's writing, right?
So everywhere that's played a role in freezing your hands from letting the words come through you, you're getting messages all the time. Do you see? Anywhere you've not let them come out because they might change, can we just say, in fact, they will change?
Yes.
And that's actually beautiful. What if that's actually beautiful? What if what I wrote 10 years, I wrote a book, oh my gosh, my first book, parts of it I read now and I just go, oh my gosh. I know so much more now. It's not wrong, but it's not the whole story anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? So I just laugh, but I'm not like embarrassed. You know what? I don't like the font. Like I use such nicer fonts now. It's the ugliest font. My first book is in this horrible little font. And it's like 8 or 9 point. I'm like, I would never do a book in 9 point. See, I do books now like in this nice big fonts, right? I hate the font size of my first book, but I don't hate my first book. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
way awesome.
To
Go
have
ahead.
20 books, you have to write one and not to wait.
It's, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Monica, there's something else I'm still feeling that, are you open, Marie-Laure, to have, Marie-Laure, to have, I can do the French one, it just takes me a little more energy. Can you allow Monica also to play with you? Because it feels like there's, we got a lot of it. I'm still feeling a little bit, sort of it stuck to you, holding you in. Do you want a little more facilitation?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Monica, do you want to play with it a little bit?
Totally.
Go ahead.
So the one question that I have is, does everything that you write belong to you? And everything that brings up, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. If somebody comes into the room and they're really, 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 really sad, or they're screaming, are you aware of it? What is that like? Do you sometimes get sad or cranky when somebody else is? How aware are you of all of these energies that are just all around you? Everywhere that you take those personally and then judge you for that, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So just like Erica was saying, that by you bringing this up, it actually is facilitating others. You're speaking to the energy that somebody else is also aware of. And everywhere that you would make yourself wrong about that, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And do you see the gift that it is to give your voice to this energy? There were other people who were clearing things with you. Thank you, right? And so it takes a little bit of like, how cool is it that you could write a book that just comes to you and you could actually receive some money, but it doesn't have to be from you. You get to receive from it. You get to be the spokesperson. You don't have to manufacture it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You get to allow what others are asking for to come through you. What does that require of you? How fluid can you be to allow yourself to speak freely and for you? And everything that brings up and lets down, would you destroy and uncreate all
Yes.
that? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And it's funny because, like, as all throughout this call, I've just been so aware of all of these different things, these different books that are talking, these different, like, ancestors that are like, oh, I've got something to say. I've got something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this cat that's next to me that's like, talk for me. I like, say this, say that, say this. And so it's, you know, it like everywhere that we're like, no, I don't want anybody to see my name associated with that. Everything that is. Would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and
Yes.
wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And would you be willing to be the gift of no judgment for what people have to say or the energies that exist? Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Cool.
And when you love your book enough, it's really immaterial. Like when you love your book enough, it becomes so immaterial that people stop judging you. There's this place where you get judged and then you go beyond it. Because when you get to a place where you're good enough at whatever it is you do, you're so confident in it that you're beyond the judgment. It's like, you're like, it's almost like, okay, cool. But yeah, it's so hard to explain. It's like there's a place beyond it. So you will get there. There is a place where judgment is like plays this huge factor. It's kind of like if you're an entrepreneur and you run your own business, you make lots of money, someone else may judge, they can't really judge your career. It doesn't matter. It's like, okay, whatever. I do my thing, you do yours. Do you see that's the difference? It's like a different, it's when you become un-F-withable.
That's funny.
But I gotta go like in like 2 minutes. I have to leave because I have a child waiting at his high school patiently for me who got out of school about 3 minutes ago, and I need to go pick him up. So what else can we do to kind of like give it a little closure?
Well, let me just say this one thing that is similar along these lines about if you were to give birth to a child, that child, everywhere that you make that child a reflection of you, rather than allowing that child to be that child, everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Wow, that was good.
Right, wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So everywhere that you would be like, hey kid, you better look good and say the right thing and blah, 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 because if you don't, people will judge me. Everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. And
Awesome.
cool. There's so much more, as you can see. We are rearing to go. So so you were all so invited to these other classes. You're invited, like I said, to let us know what comes up from this class. I get that there's more and more and more around this. If either one of you would like to work with me personally, work with Erica personally, there's all sorts of possibilities. And like I said, I'm going to send a lot of that out in this coming email. And cool.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Yay.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 Whoever's recording, can you hit stop recording?